Hey everyone, we're almost at the end of our week of prayer, a couple more episodes to try and fuel our prayers in our personal lives and in gatherings that we're having this week. And today we're going to see that part of praying is to engage God's responsibility. And Nehemiah has been reciting and recalling words that God spoke long ago and reminding God of them, bringing them back to God and using them to stir his faith and bring direction as he prays. And he continues in verse 10 in the same vein, but it's not so much specific promises now, but rather a kind of broad and general sense of God's own responsibility towards the people in the holy city that Nehemiah now brings to God. Verse 10, he says, "The people you rescued by your great power and strong hand are your servants." 3 times Nehemiah speaks the word you to God, or your. You rescued these people by your great power and they're your servants. Why is he saying this? Because therefore it makes sense to ask God, if they're your people and if you did this, that you could now come through for them, that you can please help them, you can vindicate them, you can protect them, because they are yours. He's engaging God's ownership, his fatherly ownership, his fatherly responsibility over the people of God. See, if we're at King Edward's on Sunday and Arlene McNutt comes up to me and says, "Rich, don't mean to disturb you, but do you see that Joel Faulkner is walking off with a rucksack on his back and he's leaving and it's Joel's rucksack?" I would be like, "Okay, thank you, Arlene. I will continue worshipping if that's okay." That was completely irrelevant. But if Arlene McNutt comes up to me on Sunday and says, "You see, Joel, he's leaving with that rucksack and it's your rucksack. It's yours. It belongs to you. You paid for it. You bought it. It's filled with things that you treasure. And now it's being taken away," then my response is going to be very different. And the fury of the Lord Almighty is going to be engaged. Now, Nehemiah is doing something similar to what Arlene's doing in that analogy. He's coming to God and he's saying, these people who are getting mocked and laughed at and are living in a broken down city, they are yours. You made them, you bought them, you paid for them, you loved them, and now they are in danger. And of course, God already knows that they are his. He doesn't need a reminder because he's forgotten. But what faith is raised in prayer, as Nehemiah and as we pray for God's people, remembering that they are his. You pray for someone in this church who's struggling right now. They are yours, God. Can you vindicate them? Can you help them? Can you strengthen them? You knit them together in their mother's womb. And now I'm asking you to come through for them, to rise up for them. And so why not use this responsibility theme to prompt your prayers right now? Maybe pray for someone in your community group, or our friends overseas who we've sent, who we're praying for this week, or perhaps the persecuted church worldwide. They are yours, God. Arise, vindicate, act. Let's engage God's responsibility as we pray.